And now we have the 3%ers. I don't know how freedom and liberty got so confused. These people have destroyed the image of freedom and liberty. Freedom and liberty have almost become negative words because they're destroying it. And they are tarnishing the memory of our founding fathers.
All right, guys. I want to introduce you to Christopher Gadsden. He's the namesake of that rattlesnake flag, what people call the rattlesnake flag, the Don't Tread on Me flag. What it's really called is the Gadsden flag. And the man who created it, his name was Christopher Gadsden. He was one of the founders of the Carolina Sons of Liberty. He did a lot of other things too, but he started as a founder of Carolina Sons of Liberty, and he ended up creating that flag for the commander-in-chief, the first commander-in-chief of the American Navy, the newly formed American Navy. He thought it was important that the Commodore had his own personal flag colors, and it became more and more popular. The snake was an image that people were using back then. The Franklin flag, the join or die, right? That started as a political cartoon by Benjamin Franklin. And people took that rattlesnake and kind of ran with it. And Gadsden put it on his flag. So Sheriff Ozzie, he says that we have destroyed the image of liberty and that we're tarnishing the memory of the founding fathers. And so he came to Idaho and said this about us to a group. He was invited by Region 7 Committee Chair and Rydalch, Gregory Gaff and the Idaho conservatives over there invited him. And during this presentation, he proceeded to say these things, tarnishing the memory of the founders. And so I went and looked this guy up. I had never heard of him. I don't know who he is. All of a sudden, he's got a hard on for me and us. So I go look at him. One of the first things I find is this picture, cover of the Inlander. He's standing on the Gadsden flag, right? And I thought, well, this is ironic, right? This is I don't even know what, this guy just traveled to my state to slander people, politicians, elected officials, us, me, called us all white supremacists, and said that we're tarnishing the memory of the founders. And the first picture I find is of this man standing on the Gadsden flag, with jokes about treading. He's going to tread, which I found fitting. This guy's a Spokane County Sheriff, where they just passed red flag laws in Washington, and he's gonna tread. He means it. He means it, and he thinks it's funny. He's gonna tread it on you. So the idea that we're tarnishing the memory of the founders, I just find comical. But I did want to touch and kind of make this video to show who we're dealing with. And he's threatening people. It's not very professional sheriff behavior. But more than that, he thinks it's a joke. And his perception of the founders and what that means obviously is askewed. It's either intentional or he's mentally handicapped. I don't know which one. But I'm going to take this time here to reiterate that we respect Christopher Gadsden and the other men who fought. Christopher Gadsden was a POW for a time, I know. He believed wholeheartedly in this country, and he was willing to put everything on the line for it, and he did. And then we have this sheriff, this literal redcoat. I mean, that's the part I can't get over is this guy is literally acting like a redcoat here, and he's disrespecting the founders and their flag. The flag was said to be flown over Bunker Hill, many other battles, over the bodies of the men who fought and gave their lives to found this country, and he's stepping on it. He thinks it's a joke. Gadsden was a lieutenant colonel in the militia. He was a delegate to the First and Second Continental Congress. He left the Congress to take command of the 1st Carolina Regiment of the Continental Army in 1776. And you're going to step on his flag because you think it's funny. You got something to prove, Well, I just want to say, Mr. Sheriff Ozzie, you said in this presentation to my fellow Idahoans that anytime, anywhere, right? That was your message to them as you were breathing hard in kind of a weird way. I'm saying okay. I'm saying let's have a conversation. I'd love to hear you explain to me how I'm tarnishing the memory of the founders while you're walking all over their flag. I think it'd be great. We can do it on the internet, Facebook Live. We can do it in person. I'm answering your challenge. I'm pretty sure it just meant to talk anytime, any place. If it didn't, go ahead and clarify for me, and I'll let you know. But if we're just talking about talking, I would love to talk. I think you laid it down pretty well with any time, any place. Well, so this is our response to you. Yes, yes, yes. We will debate with you, talk with you, challenge your thought process on the founders, challenge the idea that I've got a question for you. Why is a sheriff from Spokane County traveling to eastern Idaho to slander elected officials from Idaho? What do you have? You don't have a dog in that fight. Who's paying you, right? Idaho conservatives and their funding. I don't know. Thanks for stopping by.